On Tribe, and welcome back to another Galaxy of Heroes video with me, your boy Scribe. How are we all doing? Welcome to 2025 once again. I wanted to put out a quick video before we start this year off proper about my hopes and predictions and my wants and desires for 2025. Overall, I thought that 2024 was actually a pretty decent year for Galaxy of Heroes. If you want to see my thoughts on that and a review of all of the units that we got in 2024, go check out my video posted yesterday. It's a bit of a banger, not gonna lie. So, moving on to 2025. What do I want and what do I hope comes to the game? I think the big thing that I really want to see the end of in 2025 is the flippin' Naboo raid. I have had it up to the back teeth with this raid. I am ready for us to move on. But it would be remiss of me to say, hey, let's just look at the raid and say, see you later, moving on to the next raid, please, and we just get more of the same. Now, personally, a couple of months back, I was predicting that we were going to get a raid that was more geared towards the Ahsoka series, potentially a raid on the planet of Peridia, where we go ahead and try to escape Peridia on Thrawn's busted up Chimera. I thought it would be a fun twist on the raid format. Instead of us trying to fight through dark side enemies all the time, perhaps we play it from the perspective of Thrawn, from the perspective of Morgan Elsbeth, the Great Mothers, the Night Troopers, and the Mercenaries. We try to escape from the brand new Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano with Sabine Wren and Ezra Exile and all that good business, and it's a countdown to try and take off from the planet using their massive hyperspace ring on the capital ship. I thought that would be a cool way of doing it, but I don't want to just talk about in isolation, let's have a new raid, because I think it's pretty clear that we are going to get a new raid roughly every 7 to 9 months, which would pin this around the sort of March, April time, based on when we had the Battle for Naboo drop. What I really do want to see is a little bit of a change up to the reward structure. I really do truly miss the days in which raids provided us with new characters. Looking back, we haven't had a new character from a raid since the Heroic Sith, where they gave us Traya. Before that, we had the Heroic AAT, where we got General Kenobi, and before that, we had the Pit Raid, which gave us Han Solo, the OG Han Solo, and many of these characters are still relevant to this day. They're not like top-tier units, but Traya is a fantastic team, really solid in 5v5 and 3v3 GAC, still has a position in Territory Wars, still can get used in places like Territory Battles, and is just overall a really solid character. Similarly speaking, we look at General Kenobi, still one of the best tanks in the game, a very good plug-and-play Jedi, but also works splendifulously within a Galactic Republic team. Han Solo has a lot of use as well, simply because of his unique ability to go first at the start of every battle and land that stun. That can be used in so many different contexts in this game that it's incredibly valuable, being able to stun an enemy being able to go in a full CLS team for tremendous amounts of damage, throwing him under Galactic Legend Leia Organa to create that toxic team, throwing him in galactic challenges in order to stop the enemy from going first, to let you go ahead and start a ball rolling before they get their feet under the table. We've had really good raid characters in the past. Let's bring back raid characters and make the raiding a little bit more interesting. Give us a reason to try and hit those top boxes outside of the currency that we receive. It will help take away the sting, I think, of having to invest in brand new characters after this raid is no longer the featured raid and we lose all of that Mark III guild raid tokens that we get. If they are incentivizing us with additional new characters, I think that would help soften the blow, because people will be excited for new content coming to the game, not necessarily just a new grind coming to the game. Now, I do hope that it's not just endless waves of random enemies, like endless waves of Night Sisters or endless waves of GL Ahsoka Tano and Ezra and Sabine or whatever they happen to do. I do hope that the raid itself is engaging, but make beating it a challenge and something that is fun, and certainly not something that is RNG driven. We need to take a step away from all of that nonsense in the Battle for Naboo raid where you're like, oh, does he have charge? Does he not have charge? Does the commander take a bonus turn and dispel all your buffs? Does the droider kid take a lot of bonus turns and constantly has damage immunity up? And then when he has damage immunity, he never takes bonus turns, and then you can never get rid of it. You know what I mean? Everybody that's played the Battle for Naboo raid understands this concept, that the RNG in that raid ruins any sort of enjoyment you can really get out of it past the first couple couple of runs. Let's make raiding good again. Let's make raiding reward us a new character again. We've already seen that CG are on this highly ambitious drive this year to try and push out a lot of characters, a lot of new events and legendary unlocks. Is it really that much to ask that once a year we get a character that's tied to a raid? I don't think it is. I think it would make raids far more palatable to a wider audience. Bring us back those characters. Whilst we're on the subject of new characters in PvE game modes, I do think that it would be nice if we get a new planet in Rise of the Empire TB that also introduces new characters to the game. I don't mind if it requires a special mission that necessitates us investing in brand new character marquees. Say we've got the new Bad Batch era coming out now, with Season 3 Bad Batch characters coming out in like 2 weeks' time. I think we're starting to get it. Why not introduce a new planet? I don't really mind where that's going to be. Perhaps it's the planet where they took Omega to at the start of the season, where we have to rescue her from. Maybe we have to fight a Zillo Beast or something like that, and we get to unlock something like Batcher. I don't know. Anything like that that lets us try and unlock a little bit of extra juiciness that's not just currency to help us buy additional things that we can already get. Give us something unique for us to unlock and a fun way to do it that is accessible to a large player base. It doesn't have to give us more stars within the reward structure. It doesn't have to give us gear like Kyrotech. Just give us a character to unlock, like that we have with Reva. Why are we not getting additional character unlocks through these events? I don't understand why it's just gear and it's never usually like the real stuff that you actually need. Don't get me wrong, it's always nice to have planets that are awarding us Kyrotech and things like that, but why aren't we getting things like signal data and high-end relic materials and stuff like that? That's the sort of focus that I would like it try and change the focus to on these planets with territory battles, because I think that it's really hitting where players actually need stuff. I mean, they could also give stuff like Omicrons and Zeta materials and things like that. Anything that sort of helps real crunch points in the game is a nice place for it to be fitting in. But mostly, I do want to say, I want new characters to be unlocked through interesting ways, with fun combat mechanics and interesting kits, preferably characters that are really good plug-and-play characters. We don't get them as often anymore. Characters like Thrawn, characters like Watt, characters to a certain degree like Ezra Bridger Exile, and I know I said we don't get them very often, but it's true. Ezra is a really solid, compatible Jedi that can really drop in a number of teams, and that makes him a fun and engaging character to use. I don't just want all of our characters to be prescribed into individual teams. I want us to have just a little bit of enjoyment where we can theory craft where these characters can drop into, so we can create interesting team comps for defensive and offensive capabilities in PvP game modes, as well as the fun of going in and playing PvE game modes. Make it happen, Cap. Apart from that, I want to talk about a couple of quality of life improvements that I would drastically like to see. I really do feel, and I know Datacrons are not everybody's cup of tea, but I really do feel like the simple user experience that we get with Datacrons is not enjoyable. Why is it that when I open up a Datacron, I can't hit left and right arrows to cycle to the next Datacron in my list? Why can I not filter these? Why can I not save them? Why can I not, give them nicknames? Why can I not earmark them for specific stuff? It makes for a very frustrating experience. The more you farm Datacrons and the more you have, you're like, okay, I know I need to use my Grand Inquisitor Datacron for this one, but which is it? Well, I can't tell, so I'll have to click on it to open up, see what's the level 9, what's the level 6, what's the level 3. No, that's not the right one. I actually want to go to the other Grand Inquisitor Datacron. Why do I have to come back in order to go back in? And now I can see it. And why is it in this view? Why can't I not get an amalgamated view of everything here? Why can I not have that on the front page with a little drop down that says, oh, the stat bonuses that you have are these. The level 3, the level 6, the level 9 is this, this, and this. I shouldn't have to jump in to this sort of thing and then have to jump back out and then remember which one it was and then go to a different one in order to check that. It's frustrating is what it is. It's a very frustrating experience to go around and try and find the Datacrons that you need, find the ones that you are hoping on working on or re-rolling certain stats. Yes, you can lock in a datacron and stuff like that, but it still maintains that it makes it for a very unenjoyable user experience. So my recommendation is completely overhaul this, make it something that is easy to navigate, is quick, and give us the capabilities of being able to at least apply a name to a datacron, so that you can say, oh, I use this in my JMK team. I use this in my Inquisitorius team. I use this in my Malicos team. I use this, you get the picture. I don't want to have to fight with the system just because I've invested in a lot of crystals and farmed up a lot of datacrons. Make it easier for everybody, please, CG. And I would dearly like them to take that exact same concept and apply it to this god-awful user interface that we have for data disks within Conquest. Why is it that if I want to check out what a data disk is in Conquest, I have to click on stuff like this in order to see it in my inventory, and I go, no, that's not the one I want, so let's get rid of that. That's not the level one I want, I'll get rid of that. No, oh, that's the one I wanted opportunistic support. When you look at it here, you know these are amplifier or caustic emissions anyway, because we just had a look at them. But these could be any number of different level 1 data disks. Why can't I hold click? Why can't I filter with any sort of meaningful filters over here? Why do I have to add them to my inventory to see it and then get rid of them? And the thing, it just gets harder and harder to actually do the more data disks that you get. So by the end of Sector 5, you've just got an inventory full of this. Who knows what these data disks are? Like, you can't tell what they are until you click on them. You're like, okay, no, I didn't want War of Attrition. I actually wanted Deadly Catalyst, or I didn't want Deadly Catalyst. I want to have Leader's Resolve, but I can't tell until I clicked on it. I mean, is this Amplify Agony? I don't know. No, it's Thermal Exhaust. Is this Amplify Agony? No, it's Stun Exhaust. Is this Amplify? That one's Amplify Agony. It's like they've all got the same symbol, the same color, the same number of dots, but I can't tell what they are until I've added them to my inventory, and then I have to go back and get rid of the ones that I don't want. Give me a means of actually looking at my data disks in some meaningful way. I would also really, really like it if I had multiple copies of the same thing. Perhaps I can combine them and increase the level. So say I have 2 data disks of who knows? Let's say we've got 2 caustic emissions here. We've got 2 green caustic emissions. Why can I not go to a certain merchant and say, I would like you to meld both of these caustic emissions together and give me 1 blue caustic emissions? Got 2 of the same rarity. Improve the quality for them. Make it easier for me to have some sort of autonomy around the data disks that I can actually obtain and get. Give us a store that lets us trade data disks, or even use our our currency from Conquest, our Conquest credits if we want, to pick out specific data disks that we can choose to get and use and add to our inventory or swap out. Make it an enjoyable experience. Get rid of the frustration from the player base around, oh, I don't happen to have the right data disk setup just yet. Make it easier for us. I'm sure that there will be people willing to spend crystals on that sort of thing as well, CG, if you really are inclined to try and encourage people to spend more money, but I would like it if it didn't cost us real-world money or anything like that. Just give us a little bit more autonomy in Conquest, please. You've done a good job, I'd say, in recent months in sort of taking a step back and removing some of the grind out of Conquest. I know that Conquest is still very grindy, it is very much so, but if we were to go back a year and check out how they used to be, where we used to have multiple feats which were like complete 40 battles with this faction and 40 battles with this faction, and each sector would have like 2 different feats that you needed to complete 15 battles with like opposing factions, and you couldn't double dip. It's a lot easier to double dip feats at the moment. It's a lot easier on the actual grind itself, because they've decreased the number of wins or victories that you need to. We only need to get like 15 wins now. We used to have to get 40, so it's a lot easier for us. Let's keep in vein of that and make sure that the player base is having an enjoyable experience with the game modes and not just looking at it as a money grab and a grindy investment in time and effort and energy. Let's make it fun again. This is a game after all. Moving on to my next desire, my next great wish, is I want them to look at Territory War and tear it to absolute pieces and rebuild from the ground up. This hasn't changed in the entire time I've been playing Galaxy of Heroes, since 2018. I don't know how long the Territory War map has looked like this, probably since inception. And I've played, like I said, June 2018 is when I joined, and this has never changed in the 6 years that I've been playing this game. 6.5 years I've been playing this game. Please, for the love of all that is holy, just do something different. Take a leaf out of your your territory battles book, where we changed from a map where we go from left to right or from right to left with different combat nodes and mission nodes, and you've changed it into a multi-planetary galaxy essentially, where we travel from planet to planet with multiple special missions and combat missions and things like that, and you've got platoons and operations and all this sort of business. Give Territory War that level of overhaul where it feels completely different. I don't care if you want to introduce elements of PvE into this as well. I don't care if you want to introduce elements of capturing certain zones, gives you certain buffs, and it's sort of like it's a strategic race to see who can beat certain things at certain times in order to unlock certain bonuses or remove benefits from the enemy team. Just do something drastically different with Territory Wars to really drive that engagement. Now, I don't want, like many people have requested, to see things like fleet crystals be stripped away from fleet and thrown into Territory Wars, because I think that's going to cause a large amount of disruption within the community, and I'm not sure if it will actually be positively received. I would like them to incentivize Territory War a little bit better and give it more than the freshest coat of paint than you can possibly imagine, because this is quite frankly getting dull. You want us to invest our Omicrons and our teams for Territory Wars, make it a fun game mode and make it a game mode that rewards the player base in an appropriate way. The other side of it is, of course, that these brackets are long overdue. 380 million active GP is currently the top tier bracket for guilds competing in Territory Wars. We've got guilds that have got GPs in excess of 700 million at this point. We need to have a look at this and maybe do a little bit of a shufti and certainly reassess the rewards here. These rewards just, in my opinion, they just don't cut it anymore. Let's look and sort of modernize the reward structure in the same way that we looked at things like assault battles and gave that a complete fresh coat of paint. New reward structure, better rewards, more in fitting with the modern day of Galaxy of Heroes. Give us things like signal data, give us things like high-end relic material mats, give us things that we really do want to engage with and things that make it feel like players' time is respected, because Territory Wars is a big, long time investment for a lot of people. Make it easier for players from multiple time zones to engage in it, not squish it all into a 3-hour window where they might have enough time to actually battle. It's very difficult with guilds being spread across the entire planet to find a time where players can actually engage in the game mode in a meaningful way. If we're going in and half of the guild isn't awake for the first 12 hours because they're asleep or they're at work, and you can't clear one front section or two front sections to get to the next section, the whole Territory War system comes to a halt. And that's not a fun and engaging experience for players. Find a new way of getting this done that doesn't negatively impact guilds that have got people that live across multiple time zones. This is a global game. Let's act like we, cater for people from all areas of the world. I think it would be much better received than the current setup, personally. And the very last thing that I would like to see in the game coming into 2025 is I want them to do something to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. I believe the anniversary is in May, and I think that it would be remiss of CG not to include some sort of nod or some sort of homage to that game mode. Last year, we did have the 25th anniversary, I want to say, of Phantom Menace, and we got the Gungans, and we got Padawan Obi-Wan, Master Qui-Gon Jinn, Queen Amidala. Let's have a similar sort of treatment for Revenge of the Sith. I don't know if the raid will be focused around that. I don't know if we'll get a new legendary character. I would like it if it's going to be a legendary character celebrating the anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. Make it Supreme Chancellor Palpatine. That would be sick. Give him a special ability to execute Order 66 or something. Make him like a really good anti-Jedi team leader or something. Maybe you could give him that blue-skinned alien that he hangs around with. Maybe that other white-skinned alien. Give us something fun and exciting to look forward to. It would be really cool to have something like the Duel on Mustafar on a raid scale at some point. Give us new assault battles. Give us something that is, really encapsulates what that film is all about, and throw that in the game. I liked it when we had Mandoverse and the background music in the game all of a sudden became the Mando theme tune. It's little touches like that really do make this game a good and enjoyable experience. Let's give it the proper respect it deserves and make something that really engages with the fans of Star Wars. That's what this is all about, really. And I think that is going to about do it. I could probably go on for another 20 minutes or so talking about things that I'd like to see in the game, but I don't want to completely drown out the voices of the community here. What I'd like to do, though, is hear your thoughts on what you would like to see in 2025. Are there any characters that you want to see, any new game modes that you want to see, any changes to existing game modes, or things that you would like fixed? Let me know in the comments section down below, and whilst you're there, do me a favor and give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you all in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.